It happened in the summer a few years ago. I had just started college, and I got my driver's license at the summer camp. I was driving around with my girlfriend in an old car that belonged to my parents. We spent the whole afternoon out, and the sun was getting darker and darker. It happened just as I was about to go home. There was a pass near my house that was famous for its driving trails. While we were there, we decided to explore. That pass was famous for a big battle in the Civil War. Since it was near my parents' house, I didn't feel particularly scared because it was a street I knew. There were almost no oncoming cars at that pass. This is the first time I've driven through a mountain pass by myself. I thought, well, that's all? My girlfriend said, "That's kind of disgusting." She seemed to be terrified. Incidentally, she seemed to have a bit of a sixth sense. She tends to be very reluctant to go to spooky places. Just as we were approaching the top of the pass, I could see lights shining down on us from behind. I thought that it might be another driver on the mountain pass, but it didn't come any closer to me after a while. Are we going the same speed? I suddenly noticed the lights, so that car must be going pretty fast. It's funny. I guess I just didn't notice it the first time around. The next moment, I could see an old lady crossing in front of me. I stepped on the brakes, but I couldn't do it in time. I heard it crash, and I knew I was in trouble. I hurriedly stopped the car, leaving my girlfriend in the car in a panic. I walked back to the car. There was no one and nothing. That's funny, because I could see the old lady and I heard a sound, and then I looked in front of the car. It should have hit a person, but it wasn't dented or something stuck to it. I don't know. That can't be true, but if the car isn't damaged, is it okay? I go back in the car and talk to her. "If we don't leave this place soon..." She squeezed out her voice, faintly, still trembling. I started driving away as fast as possible to make sure nothing was wrong. But there's something wrong with my girlfriend. "Are you okay?" When I ask her, she doesn't answer me. Then I heard a tapping on the window, even though I was going quite fast. The sound gets louder and louder. Oh my God, this isn't good. I drove down the pass as fast as I could. Then suddenly, WJOST, WFRJL. She began to mumble. Obviously, she was acting strangely. Window. She mentioned the word window, and I wondered if she was feeling sick. I keep hearing tapping on the windows and I'm so scared, so I can't open them. Her body began to tremble in small increments. I'm scared, but I thought it was for her, so I opened the window. Her trembling stopped. "Are you sure you're okay?" I wonder if she just wasn't feeling well, I thought. And then, she spoke in a voice that was clearly different from her own. "I finally got in." I got scared and looked at her face with a sideways glance, but no way. That's the face of the old lady I thought I'd run over earlier. I was horrified. She started shaking again. I hurried down the pass. There was a church at the bottom of the pass, so I ran inside. When I explained the story to the clergy, he said that it seems that my girlfriend was possessed by haunting in the mountains. He said that at this rate, she might die. The clergy said that she should stay at the church. I obeyed and went home for the day. The next day, I got a call and drove to the church to meet her. Unfortunately, she had become like a different person and had lost all memory of me. I had lost the girl I loved so much. I hate that pass. It was about 2 years ago, when I was still in college. I came back home exhausted from my part-time job. Olivia, a high school classmate of mine, contacted me through a messaging app. "How are you doing?" "Long time no see. I'm fine. What are you doing now? The day ended with a casual conversation, but it had been a long time since she had contacted me. I was feeling nostalgic for it, and we talked a long time. A few days later, when I came home from work again, Olivia contacted me again. What are you doing now? I just got home from work. What's your hourly rate for a part-time job? Olivia had stayed in her hometown, but she seems to have a longing for Tokyo. Even the other day, she said many times that she should have gone to a university in Tokyo. $15, maybe. Seriously? That's great! I can't even think about making it in my town. Are there any cool guys at your work? No, unfortunately. By the way, I heard that Hudson, a classmate of mine, had a shotgun wedding. What? Seriously? Yeah, with a local hostess bar girl. Hudson was the most popular guy in high school, and in fact, I used to go out with him for a period of time. I see, but we're at that age where we start getting married. It happened when we were talking about this kind of crap. HUHFJSDFWIW. I got a message that I didn't understand. What's going on? K92JDDJFW38ASJA. I didn't really care because I thought she was typing a message while doing something else. Or she might have had her smartphone in her pocket. It's typing messages on its own. Did it malfunction when you put it in your pocket or something? No, I just left my phone on my desk while going to the bathroom. There's something wrong with my phone. Well, maybe that's the case. ASSM9D FWL CJW340D. Again? 48SFJ2EFERSDJ. Stop it. It's not funny. I didn't do anything. Don't be a prankster. No, I really didn't do anything. Hudson. Emily. Like. Peace. Huh? Hudson? What do you mean? I didn't do anything and I'm scared. Are you sure it's not hacked or something? I'll go to the cell store tomorrow. I knew there was something funny about it, but it was already late in the evening that day, so we ended the conversation. The next day, Olivia called me. I heard Hudson was killed yesterday. Huh? Yeah, Hudson got into a fight with his wife at night and apparently got stabbed with a kitchen knife. I was stunned for a moment. So, yesterday's message was a funny one, wasn't it? I just reread it. Hudson, Emily, like, peace. This message, when I read it vertically, read H-E-L-P. No way. I wonder if Hudson sent me some kind of SOS. In the end, Olivia was so creeped out that she changed her account and nothing else happened after that. Even now, I don't know why that happened.
This was when I was in high school. A trio of friends decided to go to an abandoned hospital near their school called the Old City Central Hospital, which is rumored to be haunted. As the name implies, 20 years ago, the Old City Central Hospital was accepting various patients as a city central hospital, but the hospital was shut down due to dilapidation. Then a few buyers came along, but for some reason, misfortune struck, and the story always faltered. Most of the city's citizens were aware of the rumor, and together with its appearance, it was called the Haunted Hospital. I took my father's latest video camera from home and met my friends at midnight in front of the abandoned hospital. The three of them weren't psychic, and they weren't the type to be scared of ghosts, so they weren't scared at all. even in the middle of the night in an abandoned hospital where normal people would be scared to look. More than that, I was excited to see if I was really scared or what would come out of it. Unfortunately, there was no moonlight that day, so I had to rely only on my flashlight. I decided to take a look around the hospital while filming the video. There were several examination rooms from the reception on the first floor, and on the second floor there were several rooms that were wards. It's true, I thought it might be a creepy atmosphere for a normal person, but I didn't feel much of a scare. More than that, the window glass was broken and the breeze outside was coming in, which was quite pleasant. All the doors were left open and inside was open to the public, but nothing of particular interest. When I went to the third floor, it was a ward in the same way, but when I went to the far end, it said operating room and the door was closed. We were intrigued by the only operating room with a closed door and excitedly decided to go inside to see if we could find any goodies. The door to the operating room was heavy and hard to open because it was rusty, but with the help of the three of us, we were able to open the heavy door. The three of them were thrilled to be in an operating room that was hard to get into. I walked into the operating room with a camera in one hand, and the other two raised their hands mimicking the doctor. "Excuse me." The old operating room was littered with medical records that I believe belonged to an old patient, in addition to a worn-out operating table. It was disappointing, especially since there was nothing more like a treasure trove. We took one of the cleanest things from the scattered medical records and put it away in our bag. "Goodbye, ghost." "Hey, shut up." So I left the operating room, went back downstairs, and left the hospital. It was nothing like I thought it would be. It's boring, but it's a good way to pass the time. On the way home, we decided to see if there were any ghosts or anything on the video we'd taken over a snack. So we headed over to my house, where my parents were on vacation and nobody was home. On the way home, I grabbed some food at a convenience store. I played the video and enjoyed watching the images being projected as the three of us chatted. I was depressed that I couldn't get a psychic video that easily, because there was no ghostly thing on the video. But when we got to the operating room scene on the third floor, excuse me, it was at that very moment that my voice, which had been recorded, was played back. Come on. We looked at each other. The voice of a man who clearly wasn't us coming in. The camera shows the inside of the operating room, but it also records voices that aren't ours. That patient can still be helped. No, maybe not anymore. It's not an idle ear. The man's voice is definitely being recorded. Our faces were turning pale by the minute. When I picked up the medical records I had brought home, the images were jumbled. I've never been so disturbed before. I felt a chill run down my spine, wondering if I'd brought something bad with me. Wait. This time his voice was lower, brooding, and aggressive than it had ever been. And then suddenly, the phone in my room started ringing. We looked at each other and then we cautiously answered the phone. We heard the voice of the man on the video. "Hello, this is City Central Hospital. Could you please return the medical records you took home?"
Thank you. It was when we got married and bought our first house. We bought a used property at an incredibly low price for living in the city center. Honestly, was something wrong with the property? We thought we were lucky to get a house so cheap, but we didn't believe there was more to it than that. A few days later, as I was cleaning up after moving into the house, I found a crayon at the end of the hallway where there was storage to put away the vacuum cleaner. I thought for a moment that it was strange because it was cleaned so well. We didn't have any kids and were busy cleaning up the move, so at the time I wondered if the previous occupants had forgotten something. I couldn't stop thinking about it. A few days later, I found the crayon in the same place again. It seemed like the exact same one I'd thrown away the other day, and as I got flustered, I remembered something. The real estate agent who showed us around when we were touring the house picked up some trash here. At the time, I thought it was a good contractor who would politely pick up the trash, but come to think of it, it was a crayon. A few days later, when I was cleaning up again, the crayons fell in the same place. Wondering if someone had come up to the house and done some mischief, I became frightened and checked everywhere in the house, but other than the crayons, there was nothing particularly unusual. I tried to talk to my husband about it, but he didn't seem to particularly care if it was my fault or not. I thought I'd ask the real estate agent the next time I found a crayon, and after that, I just went about my life as normal. A few days later, as I was cleaning up like I always do, and fixed the vacuum cleaner to the storage on the wall at the end, I realized that the storage space didn't match the length of the room on the side. Originally, the side rooms were deep, but the storage space wasn't that deep. This is ridiculous. Curious, I checked the wall of the storage space at the end of the hallway where the crayons always fell out. When I tapped on it, the sound was lighter than the other walls. When I took the plunge and ripped off the wallpaper, the sliding door had been carefully nailed down. I was gobsmacked. I didn't hear about this room. I never thought something like this would happen with the property I bought. I hurriedly called my husband and explained the situation to him. My husband came back from work in a hurry and decided to open the sliding door for the two of us. When I removed the nails and opened the door, I found that the lower half of the small room was bright red. Upon closer inspection, the wallpaper was obscured by a red crayon, filled with the letters written by many young children. "Mom, please open the door. Let me out of here. Mom! Mom!" Oh my God! My husband and I looked at each other and hurried outside. When I confronted the real estate agent later, she told us a mother and her daughter lived in our house long ago, and the reluctant mother was driven mad and killed the girl when she played a trick on the wall with a crayon. The mother hid her daughter's body in that room and then went missing. As it turned out, we had purchased a bad property.
I'm drie. I rode the comedy boom and I am now get national fame and making billions of dollars a year. I don't know how to say it, but I'm a very popular entertainer. The house is a luxury condo with perfect security, where only top-notch entertainers and presidents of major corporations live. One day, as I was returning home from work as usual, there was apparently a lot of noise around my house because of my job. I always get home late at night, and I live in an area where it's really quiet. Is there something wrong? I went to bed that day without worrying about it because I had to work the next day too. The next morning, when I turned on the TV, I heard that there was a terrible incident around our house. Oh, please don't do this in such an upscale area. Real estate prices are going to go down. And on the way home that evening, it was noisier than the day before. No way, in a row. I'll have to be careful. But it's got good security, so it should be fine here. When I arrive at home, first I take a sigh of relief and drink a cup of tea. That's my way of switching on and off. I'm going to take a shower. I took off my clothes the moment. Ding pong, the intercom at the front door called me. At this time of day. Who are you, wonder, but I look into the camera on the intercom. The camera showed a police officer in uniform. The police? Excuse me for calling so late, but this is police station A, and I need to ask you a few questions. Yes, what's going on? Recently, there's been an incident around here. It's been on the news. Have you seen it? Yay? Well, so, I'm just going around asking around. Are you alone now? Yes. I'm alone. If you don't mind, I'd like to come to your house for a moment. What, now? Now is not the time. Is there anything you can do about it? I'm sorry, but it's just not possible right now. I was about to get into the shower, and I said no with all my might. I see. Fuck. As he said that, the police officer was no longer on the intercom. How dare you? The police are no good these days. Alright, let's get in the shower. A few days later, on shooting site, the crew and I got into a conversation about the police officer's unlikely response. Just then, the news that the perpetrator of a crime near my house has been arrested came from a TV on shooting site. What? When I saw the picture of the killer on the TV, I froze. The culprit was that man who had come to my house as a police officer. I don't think, if I would have let him in my house when he come.
When I was in the upper grades of elementary school, I was addicted to telling scary stories with my friends. I used to get excited by telling scary stories with my friends almost every day. One day, my friend Akira started to tell everyone about a famous ghost story called HANAKO-SAN in the toilet.
I heard it's a famous story about Hanako in the toilet, you know?
Akira knocked 3 times on a private room in the girls' bathroom on the 3rd floor of the school and said, "Let's play, HANAKO-SAN." HANAKO-SAN appeared on the scene. After hearing the story, it's not like that. It's scary if it's true. It was just like that, as usual, and they were having a great time. That day, it was raining so hard that even when it was time to go to school, no one had brought an umbrella, so it was hard to go home. Everyone had some time to spare, so they were talking about scary stories again, and as they were getting excited, Kanako, who normally doesn't talk much, asked, "I wonder if Hanako-san from the bathroom is really there." She became interested in Hanako-san in the bathroom, who I was talking to during my lunch break. Doubtedly, Akira gave it her all. "Of course you're there," he replied with. And then Kanako said, "Then let's go to the ladies' room and check it out." Akira couldn't hold back, so Akira, Kanako and I decided to go to the girls' bathroom on the 3rd floor to check. The rain outside was getting heavier and heavier, and even thunder began to form, making it seem as if a ghost was about to appear, but Akira was still bullish. The 3rd floor is usually used by 6th graders, but it just happened to be empty on a school trip. When we got to the front of the girls' bathroom on the 3rd floor, Kanako said, "After all, don't you want to call it quits?" He began to say, "What the hell are you talking about? You're the one who suggested it." With that said, Akira stepped into the girls' bathroom. 1, 2, 3. There were 3 private rooms in the women's bathroom. Akira wasn't even scared. Ton. He banged on the door of the frontmost private room 3 times. "Let's play, Hanako-san." However, no response was forthcoming.
What the fuck, man?
Akira continued, knocking on the door of the 2nd private room and repeating the same thing, but there was no answer.
This is the last time you're going to do this.
Akira knocked 3 times on the door of the 3rd private room at the far end, and did the same. "Let's play, Hanako-san." "Yes." A muffled voice faltered, as if he'd overheard something. "Huh?" We all looked at each other involuntarily.
"Did you give it to me?"
There was an out-of-this-world voice, and then the door began to open loosely. All 3 of them ran off without saying a word, but Kanako stumbled into the bathroom exit and got moldered. "Kanako, are you okay?" Just as I was about to reach out to the collapsed Kanako, a pig-headed girl in a red skirt came out of the bathroom door. I hurriedly tugged at Kanako's hand and went down to the 1st floor with all my might. After that, I never went to that girl's bathroom again because my parents had moved to a different school for work. Maybe Hanako-san will be in the bathroom somewhere again by any chance.
Come play with me.
It was in the 4th grade of elementary school.
A very scary story I experienced in a school bathroom. There's an abandoned school near our school that's no longer in use, and there was a rumor that it was haunted. I invited my good friends, Satoshi and Noboru, to enter an abandoned school to try out test your courage at late night. Hey, are you sure you're okay? Maybe we should just call it a day around here. Now that we've come this far, let's explore more. A scared Satoshi insisted on going home several times, but each time Noble denied it and kept going further and further. Inside the abandoned school, there was no sound, but the occasional cold breeze felt on his face, adding to his fear. It was cloudy that day and I had only the light of a flashlight to rely on. Noble was unhappy with the fact that he had made it to the back, but was not able to experience anything particularly scary. Let's go home, says Satoshi, sounding like he's about to cry. Well, I guess it's time to go. Noble agreed to leave. Just then, I heard something moving from the bathroom I'd passed a short while ago. Hey, did you find something in the bathroom? We're on our way home, so let's go in. When Noble started to run, I started to run with him. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Satoshi followed, his voice on the verge of tears. Only one private room at the back of the bathroom was blocked off. Speaking of which, you know how to call a toilet spirit? I've heard that if you knock on the toilet 3 times and say let's play, the spirits will come out, Noble said proudly. No way. Satoshi tried with all his might to stop him. No, let's try it. With that said, Noble knocked on the door of the sealed private room 3 times and called out, let's play. However, nothing happened. I've heard it too, but I think they call it differently. As I recall, they say you make a knocking sound with your mouth while knocking 4 times. I'm still wondering why Satoshi, who was supposed to be the scariest person in the world, said these things. Alright. Well, let's do it then. Noble let out a knocking sound with his mouth as he knocked on the door. However, nothing happened. What the hell? Nothing's going to happen. With that, Noble turned to leave the bathroom and head for the school's exit. I was about to leave the bathroom after Noble, too, when I saw the boy's reflection in the mirror. It wasn't Satoshi, of course. It was a boy with an indescribable look on his face. Come on, big brother, let's play. The boy speaks to me. So, there's. With that said, I hurriedly ran as fast as I could toward the exit of the school building. A boy. Why are you running away? You called me. Play with me. He chases after me, saying, I'm not going to do this. We have supposed to be going back to the exit, but somehow the exit is too far away. Eventually, it became a dead end. Don't be afraid of these things, big brothers. It's only going to get scarier from now on. The last time the boy said that to me, I lost my memory. The next morning, I woke up and found myself lying on the bed. I hadn't seen Satoshi since then.
I'm Jackson. I'm a YouTuber who operate a psychic spot experience channel on YouTube. I started a long time ago, but the number of views doesn't grow as much as in the old days because the number of the same profession is increasing now. I'm thinking of going to a haunted spot where people don't stick around. Why is that? Of course, it's all about the number of views. These days, taking movie of ordinary haunted spots is not particularly interesting at all. This is Robert. He's my personal photographer and editor. Up until now, Robert and I have been touring the haunted places together. This time, I would like to visit an abandoned hotel in S Village. S Village was almost sunk into a dam a long time ago, but residents' protest prevented it from sinking into the dam. However, half of the residents moved out because of the impact of that time. Since then, the area has been depopulated, and finally no one has lived and come. Robert and I drove to S Village, waited for the middle of the night, and went inside the abandoned hotel. Inside the hotel, of course, there was no light and it was so dark that you couldn't see around without a flashlight. The dusty smell of the abandoned hotel was annoying. but I had a lot of expectation that I might get a good movie. I decided to venture inside the hotel while Robert is setting up his equipment. I went all over the first floor. And when I got up to the second floor,
Jesus.
I heard Robert scream from the first floor. "Hey, what's going on? What's going on?" Robert didn't reply. This could have been a bad thing. I hurriedly made my way to the first floor. "Robert, are you okay?" I shouted loudly. However, there was no reply. "Hey, and if I do?" "Hey," he replied. "That's good. But there is no one beyond, illuminated by a flashlight." "Hey," I called out to him. "Hey," there's a reply, but no sign of Robert. I called out to him. "Hey, hey, hey, hey," he replies. When I listen carefully, it's not Robert's voice. "Is there someone there?" I shouted.
Here?
I heard it near my ear. I ran as fast as I could to get to the car. Robert was asleep in the car. I don't know who that was.